Hi everybody, so today I really wanted to make a video expressing my reaction and my thoughts on a certain subject, and this is about something that happened in Hawthorne, California regarding the police department. Most of you probably know what is going on with that, but it is about a police officer, Jeffrey Salmon, who deliberately shot and killed a 80-pound Rottweiler 4 times, and it ended up killing him. And I just want to explain my thoughts on it and everything that happened. So what had happened was, in Hawthorne, California, there was an incident where police were trying to apprehend a suspect from breaking into a house or something of that nature, and this gentleman was on the sidewalk, on the corner of the sidewalk, at least a block and a half away from the actual scene of the crime that the police were working on, and he was on the corner on the sidewalk with his dog Max, who is an 80-pound Rottweiler. He's 2 years old, so he's quite young still, and he's just on the corner recording the incident with his smartphone, which you are perfectly allowed to do. It's perfectly legal to stand on a public sidewalk and protest and record whatever you want. It's not, illegal. He was doing nothing wrong. So as he was recording the incident, the cop decided to come over to him and arrest him for invading on police space. And so he came over, and the gentleman put his dog in the car with the windows down, and he wasn't resisting arrest. He put his hands behind his back, and the cops cuffed him, and he was going to go to jail. Which, first of all, he should have never been put in cuffs, and he never should have been put into custody because he was doing absolutely nothing illegal. So that's the first problem right there. And then what happened was the Rottweiler was barking because Rottweilers are trained to protect their owner, and the Rottweiler wanted to check on his owner to make sure he was okay. So the dog jumped out of the window, and just so the dog was on a leash, but the dog jumped out of the window and went up to his owner to make sure that he was okay, which is perfectly understandable because those kind of dogs have a very protective nature over their owners. So it's not really a shock that the dog would do that. And so as they were bringing him into the cop car, the dog jumps out and runs up to his owner, and the cops feel threatened because it's the Rottweiler running up to them. And the guy was like, "Please let me get my dog, let me get my dog, let me roll my windows up, let me just get control of my dog." And the guy was trying to get to his dog and say, back, like, get away. And the cops thought he was resisting arrest just because he was trying to get control of his dog while in cuffs. So as the cops are trying to wrestle him to the ground for resisting arrest, the dog barked and, obviously became protective, not aggressive. Protective and aggressive are two totally different things. So then this third cop, this complete asshole, comes out of nowhere behind another cop car with his gun drawn, and he comes up to the dog as they're trying to, get control of the owner. And this other cop comes up, and this is something you don't ever do with a Rottweiler or any dog for that matter. This asshole comes up and tries to grab the dog's face or collar or whatever to try to get control of the dog. And that's threatening to a dog. You don't put your hand or your fist in front of their face. Like, what? Who does that? So the dog barks at him, obviously. What dog wouldn't? And so he feels the need to take his gun, point it at the dog, shoot once, and then a second later decides to take 3 more shots to the dog's fucking head. It is the most disgusting thing I have ever seen in my life. I have never been so repulsed by a video ever. It was so disgusting to watch, and it was so sad because the whole time the owner was crying, screaming, "No, no, that's my dog, no," things like that. So it was just a really fucked up situation. And first of all, it makes me think, what the hell is this world coming to if people have no issues killing animals like that? Like, that's just so fucked up to me. And then another thing is, if it were like an 80-pound child, or if it were a Chihuahua, or if it were an 80-pound midget, would he have still shot him? Like, why? There's no reason the dog had to die at all. The dog was on a leash. It was on legal leash length, Because if you go on the Hawthorne Police Department Facebook, they have a press release of what happened, and they said so many lies. They said the dog was on a long leash, the dog was aggressive and biting, and that's a lie. Because if you go on YouTube and you watch a video of an aggressive Rottweiler versus the video of the actual incident, there is a huge difference. This dog in no way was being aggressive. He was not out to harm anybody. He just wanted to get to his owner. Plain and simple. Like any good protective dog would do. That's what this dog was trying to do. There was no reason to use a gun, a lethal weapon on an animal. That's not okay. It is a living thing, and that cop is a fucking murderer. I don't care what anybody says. The dog was not trying to attack him. And if they wanted to get the dog away, they could have, number one, let the dog owner out of the handcuffs to go take control of his dog, because number one, he should have never been in handcuffs in the first place. And then, or instead of using a gun, use a taser or pepper spray. There's no reason to kill something like that. Like, it's just so fucked up to me. And I don't even know where my train of thought is going now, because I have just so many thoughts on the whole issue. Another thing is, the people said that he was in a 20 feet I don't know what the word I'm trying to find. He was in like a 20 feet away from a cop, and I guess that's not far enough for all you fucking pigs out there. So, and what doesn't make sense about that, and the gentleman was an African American, and literally just a little bit away from him was a white guy recording the same thing. So, you know, the owner, he could press so many charges and things against so many different things. Number one, that they chose the African American over the white guy. Number two, and I don't even know. Oh my God, I don't know. Was the cop Jeffrey Salmon is on suspension, hopefully without pay, because that would be bullshit if he's getting paid for killing a fucking dog while on suspension. That's so messed up. And I guess all the Hawthorne Police Department people, they had to, you know, be put. You know, they could not go out at night because they were receiving death threats and phone calls and emails, which I totally agree with. Like, I've even considering leaving a message, but I don't know. It's just so messed up. You know, you don't kill an animal. Just because they go to the bathroom outside and walk on all fours does not make them any less more of a living thing. Like, you know, if it were a human that were trying to attack him, like maybe like his best friend or his brother were coming up to like see what's up, they would have never shot him. But because it was an 80-pound Rottweiler, they decided to shoot the dog and kill it without sympathy. And the rest of the cops that were there, they feel that the cop that shot the dog did the right thing, when really, in reality, it was probably the worst thing they could have possibly done, because all their careers are fucked. And, you know, I really, like, there are Facebook pages, and I want you guys, all of you who agree with what I'm saying about how fucked up this was, I want you to go to the Facebook page and like it, share every picture. If you guys do want to see the actual video of the killing, I will link it below, but I will warn you, it is very, very graphic. I mean, there isn't a lot of blood, but just watching an animal get shot and die right in front of you on video is kind of graphic. So if you don't want to see it, you don't have to, but I will link it below for those who want to see the video. I mean, I'm sure like tons of you already have seen it, because you know it has gone viral. This happened 5 days ago, and when the dog died, his name was Max, and there are Facebook pages, and you'll see everywhere hashtag justice for Max. So I encourage all of you to tweet that and go like the pages. But you know, the video will be down below. But you know, when I watched it, I even cried. It's so disgusting that someone has, you know, that someone can actually do that. And the funny thing is, this cop that shot the dog has a history with beating the shit out of somebody. I think it says, like, he kicked someone's ribs in or something like that. So he has a history of violence. And then the fact that he went and shot a dog on top of the charges he already has, he just made his life so much more worse. Like, I really don't know what he was thinking. Like, you don't kill animals. Granted, Rottweilers and pit bulls and things like that can be scary to some people. They're very stereotyped. But regardless, it's an animal. It's a living thing. You don't kill something like that. It's horrible. I mean, if it were a Chihuahua, would they have shot it? Like, if it were me and Motley jumped out of the car, would they have shot Motley? I don't think so. So the fact that they killed a stereotypical aggressive animal, I mean, would make sense to some people because people are like, oh, that dog could have killed him or whatever, blah, blah, blah. But, you know, the dog wasn't being aggressive, like I said, and the cop has a history of violence. You know, the owner of the dog could press so many charges and have so many lawsuits, which I encourage him to do by all means. I would honestly fight this until every single one of those cops was either in jail or dead and burning in hell. That's my feel on it. They should never ever be cops again. They should never own an animal. If they own animals, I feel like they should have the animals taken away, because what if the dog barks at them? Are they going to shoot it? Like, come on. They should never ever be allowed to be on the police department ever again. They should never allowed to be a cop. They should never own a gun again. He should be fired, and all the cops involved who saw the incident happen need to be fired, because what happened was not okay. That should have never happened. That dog should have never died. Just because cops, and if you're a cop and you're watching this, just because you wear a uniform and carry around a gun and drive a car with lights on top, oh, that's so cool, but what makes you think that you are superior to everyone else? Just because you do all that stuff and have all that stuff on you does not mean that you have the right to kill and do whatever the hell you want. Like, killing an animal is not okay. Arresting someone because you feel the need to or because you want to is not okay. Like, think before you do shit. I'm just gonna link everything below. I just wanted to express my thoughts on it and how fucked up it was. I wanted to make this as quick as possible, and I know I had a whole bunch more to say, but my head and words are so jumbled. I don't know where I'm going with half of this. I just wanted to share my thoughts. If you want to comment below and disagree with me, go right ahead, but I probably will delete your comment because there's nothing you can say that can change what happened. It was wrong, and it should have never happened in the first place. So if you want to go ahead and comment below, go ahead. Please don't start any fights on my channel because I will just disable comments if I start seeing fights. If you agree, give a thumbs up. If you don't, give a thumbs down. It really doesn't matter to me. I just wanted to get my thoughts out there and share what happened. But the cop, plain and simple, the cop shooting the dog 4 times, killing it right on the street in front of a bunch of people with a bunch of little kids around is not okay. Because 1, he killed an animal 4 times, so he needs psychological help. And number 2, he could have killed somebody else. Yeah, I just wanted to share my thoughts, so yeah. I will be making more videos soon. Just stay tuned. I have a couple more makeup looks coming up, so yeah. Until then, I will see you guys very soon in the next video. Bye.